The world stopped for a split second. The sting on my cheek burned. A sharp, electric shock that snapped me out of my morning daze. "You think you can get away with this, little boy?" Her voice, a shrill, manic symphony of fury and entitlement, sliced through the quiet suburban street. Honestly, what in the hell was her problem? One minute I'm checking on a new server rack delivery. The next, this woman-y new neighbor, Karini's yelling at me, her face a contorted mess of fury, claiming my truck was blocking her driveway. It wasn't. Not even close. She just needed a target. And today, that target was me. I stood there, a hand pressed to my cheek, my mind reeling. I could still smell the cloying, cheap perfume that hung in the air, a scent so sharp it was almost a taste. Was this real? Did she actually just put her hands on me? A rush of adrenaline and pure, unadulterated shock coursed through my veins, making my head feel light. I took a deep, shaky breath, trying to process the absurdity of it all. This was my life now. Apparently, my sanctuary, my home office, had been invaded by a woman who seemed to view my existence as a personal affront to her perfectly manicured lawn and perfectly miserable life. Every single time she saw me getting the mail, taking out the trash, just living to find something, anything, to complain about. "Your garbage cans are too close to my property line. Your grass is a half-inch too tall." Now, I'd always tried to take the high road. I'm a problem solver, a programmer, a builder. Conflict isn't my code. My entire professional life is about creating elegant solutions, not messy confrontations. But there's a limit, isn't there? A breaking point where logic gives way to the primal urge to just react. My jaw clenched. I looked at the guy from the delivery company, his eyes wide as saucers, the large server box still in his hands. He just stood there, a mute witness to the bizarre spectacle unfolding. Karen, meanwhile, wasn't done. "You men are all the same, just sitting around playing games all day, collecting your government checks. This is my neighborhood, and I won't have some lazy layabout bringing down the property value." She shrieked, gesturing wildly at the truck. "You can't even run a firm, let alone a real business." A flicker of something dangerous ignited in my chest. A deep, cold anger that felt alien to me. I took a step toward her, but stopped myself. No, not like this. I wouldn't sink to her level. She wanted a fight, but I'd give her something much more devastating. The truth. It was a truth I'd kept quiet about, a professional boundary I'd respected even here at home. You don't have to announce your success, right? But now, felt like my only defense. The delivery guy cleared his throat nervously. "Sir, where do you want this?" His voice trailed off, a hesitant question mark in the tension. "Just leave it, man," I said, my voice low and steady. "I'll get it." He nodded, grateful for the escape, and quickly unloaded the box on the curb before speeding away. The sound of his tires squealing away was a jarring contrast to the oppressive silence that followed. Karen was beaming, twisted, triumphant smirk on her face. She thought she'd won. She was a professional at this game, and I was just another one of her pawns. But she had no idea what she'd just walked into. My phone buzzed in my pocket. A new email. My personal email. For a change. Not my work one. I pulled it out, just to have something to do, and a small, bitter laugh escaped my lips. The email was a notification from my company's HR department about a new job application. Particular name jumped out at me. A name with her last name. A name that felt oddly familiar. My subtwist. I looked from the phone to her smug face. "You know, it's funny you should say that," I said, a slow, chilling smile spreading across my face. "About men not running firms. I mean." The next hour was a slow-motion car crash of her own making. The Homeowners Association president, quiet, reasonable man named Frank, arrived first, drawn by the commotion and the angry messages Karen had already sent him. The local patrol car showed up a few minutes later, its lights strobing silently, adding a surreal, almost theatrical quality to the scene. Karen immediately went into overdrive, launching into a rehearsed monologue about my unauthorized commercial activity, disrupting the peace, and even claiming I'd threatened her. She was a master of the performance, her voice trembling with manufactured fear. "He needs to be held accountable," she cried, pointing a perfectly manicured finger at me. "I was just trying to protect our neighborhood, and he assaulted me." I just let her talk. My blood was still boiling, but it was a quiet, contained kind of rage now. The officer, a young man with a tired expression, turned to me. "Sir, do you have any comment?" I took another deep breath, the lingering scent of that awful perfume a constant reminder of the absurdity. "Yes," I said calmly. "I do. I'd like to show you my company's registration and proof of ownership." Karen let out a short, scoffing laugh. "Oh, please. He has a little hobby business in his garage. This is a joke," she declared to no one in particular. I ignored her, pulling up a document on my phone. The digital signature was clear, the official seal of the state unmistakable. I held it out to the officer. "This is a document showing that my name, am the founder and CEO of Innovate Tech Systems, a cloud computing firm. The server rack that just arrived is for my personal home office, as allowed by our corporate bylaws." I looked at Karen. Her triumphant smirk was already starting to falter, a tiny crack appearing in her facade. You can't be," she stammered, her voice suddenly small. I didn't say anything, just tapped the screen, and showed the officer and Frank the company website. The sleek logo, the professional-looking team photos, the mission statement, right there, on the About Us page. My photo, with the bold title, Founder and CEO. The name was the same one on the document. Karen's eyes widened, her jaw going slack. She looked from my face, to the phone, and back again, the color draining from her cheeks as the full weight of the situation finally, brutally, hit her. The slap, the accusations, the insults, they were all a public, recorded testament to her own ignorance and prejudice. But I wasn't done. The second part of my vengeance was about to unfold. I calmly swiped back to the email I had opened earlier. "And you know what the craziest part is?" I said, my voice barely a whisper, yet it cut through the air like a knife. I held the phone up so she could see the screen. "Your son, Jason, the one who lives with you, he just applied for an internship with my company. His dream job, according to his cover letter." The color from her face was gone, replaced by a ghastly, ashen gray. She stood frozen, the angry fire in her eyes extinguished, replaced by a cold, petrified fear. The officer cleared his throat awkwardly, a quiet look of professional sympathy in his eyes. He didn't have to say anything. Justice was already served. She had built her entire identity around judging others, believing herself superior and entitled to tear down anyone she saw as beneath her. But the truth, the quiet, undeniable proof of my success, was a mountain she couldn't move. The world didn't stop for a split second this time. It just kept going, leaving her standing there, a living statue of self-inflicted defeat. It wasn't about the slap anymore. It was about proving that the loudest person in the room is rarely the one with the most to say, and that sometimes, the most powerful response is to simply show up and be exactly who they claimed you couldn't be.